Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So the word is Zameru, everybody. It means let's sing. And it's on page, if somebody can find a page number for not just everybody in the congregation, but also for me, that would be helpful. Oh, I just saw it.
16.
Page 16. You can see the translation. It's beautiful. It's all about the gorgeous musical instruments that we have here tonight with us. We have Colum on violin, and we have Isaac on bass, and Eric and Joe over here on piano. And it speaks about the beauty of all the instruments singing with us together. And your part is it's a repeat after me. So I say, Sameru. You know, it's a little bit hard to hear in this room, so you have to be a little louder. Nice, and I heard some harmony that was pretty. Just warming up.
And as we warm up, let's turn our attention to gratitude, God of gratitude. Help us enter this Shabbat in a place of thanksgiving. The fog is cold outside, and sometimes there's metaphorical fog in our lives, but gratitude is one way to part it. So we step into gratitude as we enter this Shabbat. And speaking of gratitude, we get to welcome our mitzvah up to light candles for this Shabbat. And so we welcome up the families of Lev and Sasha Resnikoff to bring light and gratitude into our Shabbat. Come on up. Oh, yeah.
Ya la 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 hadlik ner. Ya la 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 hadlik ner. Shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechatlik ner lechatlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
So Lachad Odi it's interesting because it's this it always starts at the beginning of the service here. There's always some people in the congregation who don't know what to do at Lachad Odi because at the very end, we all stand up and then we turn, and if you're coming in late, it looks like we're all staring at you. And we do it because you're supposed to get up and turn from the entrance you came in, which I always thought was nice. But I think today there's something that feels different about it, because wandering around this building this week, and I have been wandering around the building this week, I'm one of the last clergy people with an office here, it's empty. But then I saw these stools get set out. I saw the new entrance get built for us. And really kind of what happens here is that it reminds us that Shabbat, it happens, but why it happens is because all of us enter into this space. It's this communities, it's the individuals, it's the relationships, it's the laughter, it's all of it that actually starts bringing Shabbat in for us. So feel what it's like to be together. Feel where you're sitting in this room, who you're sitting with, where you are in life, what you're letting go from this week, and also what you're hoping for in these next 25 hours as we move into Shabbat. We are on page 20 for Lachad Odi.
Let's try that again. Yalla
continue with Shalom Alechem, welcoming angels on the following page. You can be seated.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Chasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem v'shalom, Malachei Chashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu mi v'shalom, Malachei Chashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzidchem לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלאכי המלאכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We continue with the Baruch Hu on page 28. We rise if we are able to, and we prepare to enter a space beyond ourselves with prayer.
You know, I have this desire to hear you, and it's just so hard to hear you in this space. So I'm coming a little closer.
We're just going to keep going with the theme of love, as our tradition teaches Torah as an expression of love, and the next blessing is about that. But Cantor Addie's going to sing her version of it, right?
Sure, and I'll tell you, my parents were both very atheists. And towards the end of my mother's life, she had cancer, and she was meditating to try to help her situation. But she said to me, you know, Marcia, my whole life, I never ever believed in God, but when I meditate, I feel like there's love all around me. And I thought, wow, I think that's what some people might call God. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Ahavat olam beit Yisrael. Let's say it again. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Ahavat olam beit Yisrael. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us. What a great love, what a great love, what a great love you have given us.
And so we move from that love deep into our breath. And so we're going to move into Shema. And in Shema, we close our eyes, but then when we come out of Shema, we're going to slowly move into V'ahavta. And there's different parts in the air where I like to just kind of take and highlight it, like if I had a overhead projector. Is it where we are in the Torah? We're at the V'ahavta part of the Torah. So when we actually get there, we are going to be reading what we will be reading tomorrow during the Torah service. So I invite everyone to take a big, deep breath in as you close your eyes and move into that meditation where you hopefully feel the love surrounding you.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם.
בראשיתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, ושרתם לאות ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בעיניך. מזוזות פניך ולשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אליכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים.
אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
And if you'll turn to page 39, and if you'll please join me in the English at the very top of 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך רעה ובניך בוקי הים, לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה.
We continue on page 43 at the top. We offer this blessing of Hashkivenu, which asks for protection every night. And we insert into this blessing also our ask for healing for those who are sick that we think of on this Shabbat.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
On this Shabbat, we send blessings for healing to Rusty Holden, Patrick Powell, Allison Kramer, Peter Logan, Nancy Jackson, Dennis Charles Parks, Mallory Klunkovic, and any others people would like to share tonight. We also think of those of you at home watching. We hear your names in our hearts. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, God of our ancestors, we ask that you send a refuah shlema, a complete healing to those who we worry for and worry about. Strength to their doctors, strength to their families as they care for them. Together we say, Amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Oh, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. We're on page 44. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל
So I'm going to invite you to please rise as we turn to page 48 for the Amidah.
Tonight we are going to have some quiet meditation with our Amidah. So we'll do the first line together, and then we'll continue quietly. You're welcome to read the words from the page. You're welcome to find words in your heart. It's just a time for us to be quiet in reflection together.
Adonai, Adonai, Sefatai tiftach, Ufi, Ufi yagid tekilatecha. Adonai, Adonai, Sefatai tiftach, Ufi yagid tekilatecha. So that my mouth can sing praise to you. We were planning on something else for this moment, but this is Rabbi Rodich's second to last service with us, and he asked for this song. And I'll bet you a lot of you know it or know parts of it. So you're absolutely invited to sing with me. Fortunately, it's one of my favorite songs, so it was easy to comply. Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air. feathered canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way you feel when every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. You leave 'em laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Tears and fears and feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds. I've looked at life that way, but now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads, they say I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life. Oh, I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds, illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all.
You are angelic. We were playing. You can see my wife; she's crying. Marsha always makes my wife cry. We were playing Joni Mitchell in our house, and my kids had never heard Joni Mitchell. And the song finishes, and they go, "Was that Cantor Addie?" And I'm like, "What?"
As if.
I'm like, "Cantor Addie's better. That's just Joni Mitchell." So it's summertime, and I know when you're here, it's the wintertime. And you could think, well, how do you remember that it's summer? I even remember my first summer here in the summer of 2005. I was an intern in Cantor Barrack's office, shivering around a space heater, and I was reading about a heat wave in Chicago, where I think 6 people had died from the heat, and I was trying to stay warm in there. But you know, when I get to this time of year in the summer, and I think for a lot of us, it's a time of nostalgia, where we think, where was I way back when at this time in the summer? One of the things that always comes to my mind, because we have people in the community who are in Israel now, people who are leaving in a few days to Israel. You're seeing on Facebook everyone's trip to Israel who are there right now. And I think back to my very first time that I went to Israel. I was 16 years old, and I had always learned about it, and I had the love and the mythology in my heart. And this was the old Ben Gurion airport, that you'd get off the plane down the stairs, and I kissed the pavement, which was schmutz. It had oil on it. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I still kissed the pavement because I was in the land of milk and honey. And I remember thinking during that summer that you would hear these stories from this week's Parsha, from Shalach, of that the spies were sitting there in Jordan looking across the valley into Israel, and these 12 spies were sent in, and 10 of the spies go there, and they go, "Oi! There are giants there. This place is overwhelming, and we look like grasshoppers. We're not going to be able to handle this place." But there was two. There was Joshua and Caleb who come across, and they go, "Listen, I'm not saying there's not giants there, but we can do this. This is the land of milk and honey." Now, because the majority said that, everyone followed what those 10 spies said, and we went on this 40-year journey of not being allowed into the land. But that summer, I kept thinking about that story, and I kept thinking, this really is the land of milk and honey. There is an energy there which is indescribable. And I think back to all the summers that I would spend in Israel, and there's a heat that still radiates out of that Jerusalem stone at nighttime when you walk around. There's a warmth, and there's dripping pink flowers all over the place. And I even think back to that 2005. Yes, 2005. Right after my summer here, I went with Elisa to Israel for my 4th year, and we were studying Hasidic texts together, which were the popular version of mysticism post-Kabbalah. And we were looking at my teacher who was guiding me in my thesis was Rabbi Lawrence Kushner. And he wanted me to study the Baal Shem Tov and Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. And Elisa is a therapist, an LCSW, and in the middle of studying this, she stops, she goes, "This is unbelievable. This is cognitive behavioral therapy." And this is hundreds of years before it's called cognitive behavioral therapy, because that's where the Baal Shem Tov's mind was. And there was this one text that we got to from Nachman of Bratslav where he wrote, "You are where your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be." And it made me think about where my thoughts are today, not back in 2005, but where are my thoughts today in 2023, 18 years later. And when I move from that past into the present, I got to be honest, because 2023 is incredibly challenging. The more I've been thinking about this week of what my view is when I look east, because we're kind of on the edge. The ocean is just a few blocks that way. But if I look this way, east, it feels like I'm living in a land of giants. And I feel like this little tiny grasshopper. If I look just east enough in our city, you can read the Chronicle every single day about the next store closing, the next hotel not renewing. You read about this doom loop. You hear about SF State, which is just, the numbers are plummeted of people that are there in person. The numbers haven't even regained back to where they were pre-pandemic. There was the news that came out today that from January till now, we've had 346 people die in this city from drug overdose. 346. And it is a clip much faster than it was last year at this time, outpacing all of that time. And they have caught enough fentanyl, they've taken it off the streets, to kill every single person in this city 3 times. In this city, we've gotten enough fentanyl off the street to kill 2.1 million people. So it's a little overwhelming. And I feel like this tiny little grasshopper. And so I find that I'm like, well, I'm just going to look past, a little further east, past San Francisco. And I look to where our country is, and I see the division in our country. I see the perilous state of our democracy. I see the former president using civil war-like language, referring to this indictment and this campaign as, quote, the final battle. And it's a little overwhelming, and I feel really small. So I keep looking east. And my sight, it lands in Ukraine. And my son, just earlier this week, he heard that on NPR, and he said, wait, that war is still happening? We're like, yeah, that war is still happening. And then we also found out that Belarus now has nuclear weapons from Russia. And it's a bit overwhelming. And 500 migrants are now missing, presumed to be dead as their boat capsized off of Greece. And so I'm so overwhelmed, I zoom back and you look at the planet and you find out it's the hottest month in the history of all records of where we are temperature-wise now. And it's a little overwhelming. And I feel like this grasshopper. And I think back to Nachman of Bratslav, and then he says that you are where your thoughts are. And that's why I feel like such a grasshopper. Now, those Israelites in this week's Parsha, when they go into that land of Israel and they see giants and they feel overwhelmed, they understood clearly what they saw. And it's a reminder on the most basic level that if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like a grasshopper, you're not the first generation to do so. People that have come before us have felt this way. Maybe the circumstances are different, but other generations have felt this way. But what's different this week in that Parsha is that Nachman of Bratslav was correct. Their thoughts is what made their reality. You see, it's not that there were not giants in Israel. There were. Caleb says it. He's like, yeah, there's giants. But they stayed right there. It's not that San Francisco is not in a valley right now. We are. Our democracy is teetering. The climate has challenges. There is a war in Ukraine. It's all real. But if you stay right there and you only stay in that one band, that reality will become the only reality. It was that same summer that when we were thinking about names for our children that we didn't have yet, that we would eventually have, we loved that name Caleb. Because Caleb was the one who could go in there, and he wasn't wearing rose-colored glasses. It wasn't that. He knew what the reality was, but he also talked about what the world could be. What Caleb does is that he challenges the reality of what's in front of him. His power is that he says that something is possible, is that he sees beyond the is, and he begins to talk about the odd. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs of blessed memory, he makes this profound point about this week's Parsha, is that connected inside this episode of the spies, it's by two key words, which is you shall see, and then the verb latur. Now the key sentence is that one that says about the thread of the blue tzitzit that you have here on the tallis right there. And it says right here, this is the part that we were reading in the V'ahavta earlier. It says, quote, when you see it, you will remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them, and not follow after your own heart and your own eyes. The point of seeing this, of that blue line inside the tzitzit, is to remember that there's something bigger than you, bigger than this current reality. That's the radical idea in Judaism. The radical idea in Judaism is that there is an infinite God, that all of reality that we are in is interconnected and beyond our own comprehension, which means everything has infinite possibilities. When we limit our vision just by what we fear, then we begin to actualize and make that fear real. And we don't move past that. That's why we have the seat. That's why we put God at the very front of our mind in everything that we see. Nachman of Bratslav, he didn't just say that one line, "You are where your thoughts are." He doesn't finish right there. He says, "You are where your thoughts are." And make sure your thoughts are where you want to be. To think that a little tiny human like this, look at yourself, you're not so big. To think that us little tiny things could change the temperature of the entire planet Earth, it's overwhelming. I mean, it is beyond comprehension that we could do that, but we did that. Now, if we did that, what else could we do? You suddenly realize that you have infinite potential. There's sometimes our potential becomes very negative on what we do with it. But there's also the potential to add the divine light into the world where you can change the world. That's the fundamental choice this week's Parsha, it lays right in front of us, is that there's a choice that we have of which side of the team we're going to be on. Are we going to be on the team of the 10 spies that say, there are giants, I feel like a grasshopper, and that's what the reality is? Or are we going to choose to be like Caleb and Joshua and say, there are giants, there's a lot going on here, and the world ought to be a different way? And then actualize that other vision. And because of Joshua and Caleb, I got off a plane in Israel when I was 16. And it was a land of milk and honey. And we have people there right now. And if you get to SFO in time, you can catch the 8 o'clock flight back to Israel. The realities have happened all around us of things that we have dreamed of. But it's our job to live in the ought and not the is. If we live in the fear, the world will become fear. If we keep talking doom loop, it will be a doom loop. But if we dream and we hope and we shift our vision to that blue thread of knowing that there is divine potential everywhere, then there could be divine potential everywhere. Can you hear out son?
We rise as we turn to the Emanu on page 2. I think it's 286, is that right? 284. As we move into this Shabbat, help us hold on to a vision of what is possible, to see not just the pain before us, but the possibility, to know that what is in our thoughts is part of what creates the world. We now turn our thoughts to those who have died recently or for whom it's the anniversary of their death. After we share names, we will join together on page 294 for Mourner's Kaddish. On this Shabbat, we think of Graciela Bosch, who will be laid to rest after this Shabbos. And we mark the period of Shloshim, of Stephen Jacobs, Carolyn Licht, Dr. Richard Catton, Brianna Razel Bat Baruch Vidavora, Stanley Weinstein, Stanley Wojcicki, Richard Jacobs, Josh Wolf, Yuri Smilovsky, Judith Schiff, Amy Miller, Gordon Fox, Gershon Ben Yitzchak Vidavora Chaya, Samuel Wiener. And we observe the yahrzeits of Ray Alpert, Milutin Avramov, Dorothy Barrelson, Goldie Bernstein, Norman Brager, Simon Brieger, Maximilian Breyer, Jane Breck, Herman Berger, John W. Culkins, Thomas E. Curran III, Phyllis DeLue, Ron Dennis, Claire Diller, Julie Arenthal, Myers J. Friedman, James Gabby, Gladys S. Gammon, Benjamin Geltner, Macy Goldman, Dorothy Goldstein, Gloria Goldstein, Florence Grafman, Nathan Groper, Julie Gallant Gutierrez, Stanley Harrison, Martin Herman, Gerald Hershenson, Josh Jensen, Dr. Paul Kaufman, Esther Kempler, Robert Addison Kerner, Barbara Levy Greenberg, Ralph Lowenstein, Issa Masonic, Pearl Miller, Sam Miller, Aaron A. Pick, Nathan Rhodes, Bernard Rice, Helen Rice, Janet Greenberg Root, Nazarene Rosen, Stuart Ross, Arthur Rubin, Lloyd R. Sankowicz, Betty Shantz, Heller Meyer Schumacher, Alan Solomon, Leonard Stern, Irving C. Sugarman, Naomi Talkov, Jerome Tenenbaum, Moritz Wertheim, and any other names the congregation wishes to add tonight. Ask our mourners to please rise first. And we all rise together if we are able. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shamei rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirate v'yalmich malchute, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayed dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehishmei rabbah mevarach leolam u'me'al maya, Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itpa'ar v'itramam v'itnaseh, v'itadar v'itale v'talal shemei dekut shabarichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehesh shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
I Oh, here, wait, let's start that over. And if please feel free to join along, everybody. And if you want to see the words, we're on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Chateau Montelena is what it is tonight. So I'm going to ask everybody if you could take your prayer books in one hand, because I'm going to ask you to put it back on the cart when we leave. And once you have it in one hand, come and squish to the middle, and we're going to make a big challah chain of touching
Tree of
the
life.
challah. A tree of life.
Tree of life. It's a tree of life.
I agree.
Yeah.
If you come make a big tree of life, come and scooch down and touch the challah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. V'te'avon. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, yeah, totally.